Hi, welcome to another video by Pack. In this month's edition of the Guide to the Night Sky, we'll take you around the stars and the constellations that are prominently visible for the month of April. The best time to view the night sky this month is before the 14th of April, as there will be no moonlight to obstruct your views, and the description that we give you through this podcast is suitable for around 7:30 to 8:30 p.m. each night. So, let's begin. This month, when you go out at 8 p.m. in the night and look right above your head, you see that Orion is no more there, nor is Gemini. This month, you'll find an empty patch of sky just above your head. That's because the constellation of Cancer is at zenith this month. Cancer is one of the faintest constellations that we know among the 12 zodiac constellations, and it's very hard to spot the stars of Cancer. You'll find that the constellations that we've discussed so far, Orion, Gemini, Auriga, Taurus and Canis Major, have all moved towards the western horizon. You'll see Aldebaran sitting just close to the western horizon. Orion is significantly towards the west this month, followed by Gemini, which is very close to the zenith but still towards the northwest. Sirius in Canis Major has also moved towards the southwest, and all of these prominent constellations are going to set this month. In the coming months, they will disappear from the western horizon, and we've discussed enough about these. So let's move on to the constellations visible this month. In the south, you can see Canopus moving closer toward the southwest horizon, and not many bright constellations are visible again in the southern hemisphere, in the southern sky. Above your head right now, you will see the constellation, you have the constellation of Cancer, but the stars of Cancer are very, very faint to notice. If you have a very clear sky, you will notice a few stars forming the shape of a crab, which is again very hard to notice. But if you do, you will see that right above your head, you should see about 2 to 3 bright stars right now, which do not belong to any significant constellation. Towards the east of Castor and Pollux and Procyon, you will find a few faint stars forming a small group, like 4 or 5 stars that are held close together. If you see this formation, then you can be sure that towards the north of this is the constellation Cancer, because this is the head of Hydra. Hydra is one of the biggest constellations in the night sky, and again it's made up of very dim stars that are hard to really notice the shape of the giant snake in the night sky. Once you've located the head of the Hydra, the 2 or 3 faint stars that you see towards the north of this is the constellation Cancer, and on a very clear night sky, you will notice in the center of this region, the Cancer constellation, you will see a small group of stars shining brightly, twinkling, and held very, very closely together. If you can see this on a very clear night sky, you are looking at Praecipi or M44. M44, also known as the Beehive Cluster, is a star cluster located in the constellation of Cancer, containing thousands of stars. The light that you see from these stars right now have been traveling for 577 years, as they are located 577.4 light years away from us. Since there's not much to see in the Cancer constellation, we'll move slightly towards the east and notice the sickle in the sky. A few stars form a question mark shape in the night sky, but they're not really a question mark. It's like a question mark is horizontally flipped. We call this the sickle asterism or head of Leo. If Cancer is hard for you to spot and you've spotted the head of Hydra, or for that matter, if you can see Procyon right now, the brightest star towards the east of Procyon that you see is the star Regulus in the constellation of Leo. Look around the stars of Regulus and you'll find a few stars forming the head of the lion, which end at Regulus, and towards the east of Regulus, you'll find a few more stars forming the body and the tail of the lion. Leo is one of the biggest constellations among the zodiac symbols, and it's one of the majestic constellations that you can clearly notice in the night sky. The bright star Regulus that you're seeing right now is called the Makha Nakshatra in the Indian Nakshatra system, and the second brightest star of this constellation is at the tip of the lion towards the east, which is known as Denebola. Denebola is called the Uttara Nakshatra or Uttara Falguni in the Indian system, and there is another bright star between Regulus and Denebola, slightly towards the north between these two stars, The star that you see there is Zosma or Delta Leo, and this is called Pubba or Hubba Nakshatra in the Indian system. You should also know that the bright star Regulus that you're seeing right now is made up of 4 stars that are so close together in the night sky that our eye cannot resolve them and we see them as one bright star. Towards the east of Leo, we've got the constellation Virgo rising slowly from the horizon and a very bright star shining from the eastern horizon, which is Arcturus. We'll discuss Arcturus and Virgo in the future editions of the guide, and for now, we'll move towards the north. Face north, and you'll notice that the bright star Capella is shining in the constellation Auriga towards the northwest, and towards the northeast, you can notice between Capella and Arcturus 7 bright stars forming a shape of a ladle. If you are facing towards the north, you can see these 7 stars as a kite shaped with 4 stars forming the body of the kite and the remaining 3 stars forming the tail. People also call it the butcher's knife or even a ladle, but right now the ladle appears inverted. This is Ursa Major constellation, and the 7 stars that you see is called the Big Dipper asterism. In India, we call this the Saptarishi Mandala, as the 7 stars are believed to be the 7 sages that brought forth knowledge into this world according to the Vedic system. Among the 7 stars, starting from the east, the tail of the Big Dipper is the star Alkaid, followed by Mizar, and then Alioth, Megrez, and above Megrez towards the south you've got Phecda, and then the star Merak towards the west of Phecda, and below Merak you've got the star Dubhe. In India, we call the star in the same order Marichi, Vasistha, Angiras, Atri, Pulatsya, Pula, and Kratu, which are all the sages in the Vedic system. Today, we have given different names of different sages to these 7 stars, but in the astronomical system, these are the 7 names that are used to identify the stars of the Big Dipper. Krito, Pulaha, Pulatsya, Atri, Angirasa, Vasistha, and Marichi are the 7 stars that form the Big Dipper, of which, if you notice the second star from the east, the second star in the tail of the Big Dipper, if you notice closely, you will find that there are 2 stars there which are very hard to resolve. In fact, if you can resolve this as 2 different stars, then it is believed that your eyesight is perfect. The second star that just became visible to you or is faintly visible to you next to Mizar is called the star Alcor. Alcor is the Arabic for the ignored one, as this star is mostly not visible to most of us at first glance. Once you've noticed that there are 2 stars out there, you need to know that this is a visible double star. In fact, in recent studies, we have found that these are 2 stars that are in reality actually 6 stars. The star Alcor is a binary star system made up of 2 stars, and the star Mizar is a quadruple star system made up of 4 stars. So what you see as 1 star at first glance, when you look closely, you will find there are 2 stars out there which we now call Mizar and Alcor. And if you do the spectroscopic analysis like an astronomer, you'll find that this is actually a 6-star system. In India, in the Indian marriage traditions, the stars Mizar and Alcor are shown to newly married bride and groom by the Pandits, as these 2 stars are considered to be Vasistha and Arundhati together. Arundhati was the wife of the sage Vasistha, and their closeness is expected from the newly married couple, and for this tradition, the Pandits show them this star. Once you've noticed the Big Dipper, we need to realize the significance of this asterism, as long before the compass was invented, this asterism was used to denote the north. In the previous editions, we have shown you how Cassiopeia, when visible in the night sky, can be used to locate the north star or the pole star, and that's when you know that is the true north. But in the month of April, around 8 p.m, Cassiopeia has set, and what we have right now is the Big Dipper, and we can use Big Dipper as well to find out the true north or the pole star. Just look at the first two stars, the stars Dubhe and Merak, or Kritu and Pulaha, and draw an imaginary line connecting these two stars. When you extend this line towards the northern horizon, the brightest star that you see very close to this line is the pole star. In India, we will see this star at an altitude of about 10 to 20 degrees depending on where you live, and as you move further north on the globe, the pole star will appear higher and higher in the sky. All the stars in the night sky, as we have discussed before, appear to revolve around this pole star, as this is the star that resides right above the Earth's north pole. So Big Dipper was a significant asterism, as this was one asterism that could be used to identify the direction and hence help the navigators to navigate the globe. In fact, Cassiopeia and Big Dipper are exactly opposite to each other. So they would lie on the either side of the pole star. So when Cassiopeia is not visible in the night sky, you can be sure Big Dipper is there to help you find the north. And when Big Dipper has set below the horizon, you can find Cassiopeia guiding you towards the north. The fact that Big Dipper is visible in the evenings this month means that you can wake up early in the morning to find Cassiopeia as the Big Dipper sets from the northwestern horizon. So once you've noticed Big Dipper, you can always be sure that you are looking towards the north, and you can use the first two stars of the Big Dipper to locate the north or the pole star. As time passes by each night, the Big Dipper will appear to move across the sky, slowly rotating and setting in the northwest, but every single moment the two stars will point towards the North Pole, so you can venture out at any point in the night and use the Big Dipper to locate the pole star. So, with the bright and significant constellations discussed for this month, not many bright constellations are visible right now. We've got Virgo and Bootes rising from the eastern horizon, but we'll discuss them in the coming edition of the Guide to the Night Sky. We've got Crux slowly rising from the southeastern horizon, but we'll discuss this again in the coming videos, as Crux is an important constellation for the navigational purposes. So now that you've noticed the constellations visible in the night sky, we've discussed Cancer, Leo and Ursa Major this month. In fact, just above Leo, a small group of faint stars form the constellation Leo Minor, but it's very hard to make out a shape of it. And you've got the stars of Orion, Gemini, Taurus and Canis Major slowly setting towards the western horizon, but you can still look at them and enjoy the view and the forms presented by these constellations. Before we sign off for this month, I would like to add that you can find the audio of this guide on Spotify or Anchor, and you can use them with earphones to spot the stars yourself without the help of this video. You should also consider subscribing to our YouTube channel and maybe press the bell icon so that you'll be notified when the next guide is out in the next month. So, having described the night sky for you this month, this is me Atul signing off for this month. See you in the coming months and clear skies.